Ready? Green, green, green.
Drivers put on a great show.
On every type of track.
Driving these cars, banging off of each other.
Get sideways, he's off the racetrack. If you're a driver trying to get in, you get little opportunities like that.
Flag in the air. Check your flag there, champion.
And it's time for the main event. The two undercards finished in fantastic fashion as we get ready for the UNOH Battle at the Beach for the K&N Pro Series. They are going 150 laps from the famed Daytona International Speedway Super Stretch. Again, the 4/10th mile that has been set up here on the backstretch of the Daytona International Speedway. Cars are lined up, getting ready to get underway. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, and Joey Logano joining us for this all-star event. And Phil, when I say all-star, we have 5 champions of the K&N Series on the stock car world that are in this field tonight.
Yeah, truly international. We have the champion from Europe, we have the champion from Mexico, from Canada, as well as the East and the West on the K&N Pro Series. So tremendous field of cars here. We're going to have just under 30 starters, but each one of these guys is capable of winning this race.
And not only is this obviously a big race for the big names, but also young drivers are able to cut their teeth and really get the exposure, just like Joey Logano.
For sure. I ran in this series for a year with Joe Gibbs Racing, and we were able to win the championship, and it's a great series for these kids to get in a full-size stock car, get on some really awesome racetracks. Obviously, we're here at Daytona tonight. This is a great place for these guys to race in front of a huge stage on Speed Channel with a lot of NASCAR guys watching this. So great opportunity for them tonight. Hope they make the best of it.
Really a dream come true for quite a few drivers because of the situation where we have the new rules in place. 15-year-old drivers like Greg Galding joining the field. Also, we talked about the national champions. Jorge Getters, the Mexico Series champion from a year ago, in this field tonight.
Yeah, a tremendous competitor. He actually ran a few nationwide races when the Nationwide Series came to Mexico. Did really well. Actually had a pole in the Nationwide Series.
DJ Kennington, the Canadian Tire Series champion from a year ago. Again, we talk about this being an all-star event with the past champions Kyle Larson from a year ago. And obviously Kyle Larson running very well in that last modified race that was run here, but involved in a late race incident where he wasn't able to complete the triple.
Here's Dylan Kwasniewski. We saw him. He's going to make the move to the K&N East Series, our reigning West Series champion.
And Ander Bellarino, the Euro Race Car Series champion, joining us from Spain. When we come back, they'll fire the engines, and we're about ready for the green flag of the final race of the UNOH Battle at the Beach. Speed presentation of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series from Daytona is brought to you by G-Oil. G-Oil is the official motor oil of the Daytona 500. Save the earth, sacrifice nothing. Welcome back. The K&N Pro Series about to take to the 4/10 mile extremely flat racetrack that's been built on the backstretch here of the Daytona International Speedway, and also a makeshift pit area just outside of turns 3 and 4. And down there right now, Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, it's interesting when you look at these two different divisions, the K&N Pro Series East and West. They run on a lot of different racetracks, but a couple of times a year, these two divisions get together, and I love when we get to see them at Iowa Speedway. But over the last couple of seasons, the guys from the West Series have said the East guys have had the advantage, and they're winning all those races. Well, I've talked to a lot of the West competitors this weekend, and many of them have said they spent the entire winter working on their race cars, equipment, a lot of them coming to Charlotte to get their stuff better, and they believe tonight that the West Series may have the advantage over the guys from the East. Bob?
Ray, I'm sure Corey LaJoie will have something to say about that. 5 wins on the East Circuit last year. Corey LaJoie will start 12th here tonight. But Corey says his car has been awful all day long. Very, very tight. 4 springs, 4 shocks on that car before we start today's race. Corey LaJoie, one of the rising young stars of our sport, still does not have a full-time ride for this year. Doesn't exactly know his racing plans other than he's hoping to compete in some races in the ARCA Racing Series as well as one of NASCAR's Big 3 series. So keep an eye on the driver of the 07 here tonight, just 21 years old.
And I talked a little bit about that youth movement. Greg Galding, 15 years and 9 days. He will be the youngest driver to ever start in the K&N Pro Series. And one of his sponsors, Krispy Kreme and Chocolate Milk. Pretty good for a 15-year-old to have those 2 sponsors.
Sounds good to me.
Hats off to NASCAR. Just moments ago, a modified race just concluded, and already we have 28 cars rolling in the K&N Pro Series, getting ready for their 150-lap feature event. Starting grid's going to roll across the top of the screen. Pursley and Thorne were the 2 fastest, and they ended up winning each of their qualifying and heat races to determine how this lineup was going to go. Pursley won a coin toss and shows that their line would be on the inside.
You know what Ray was talking about, the fact the East guys versus the West guys. Well, here we are back east, and the West guys are starting 1, 2, and 3.
Now, do you think that Pursley and Haley maybe had a little bit of advantage? Because I've heard that they set up a replica of this track back in Las Vegas in the parking lot of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
I was going to say, all you need is a parking lot and some tires, and you'd have this racetrack.
They did. And it's no big surprise. Gene Price Motorsports does a great job. They're the defending champions with Dylan Kwasniewski. Greg Pursley, right there in the 26 car, won the championship the year before that. Great program, and they really did their homework. And when they unloaded, they were fast, and they remained fast throughout this entire day.
Again, an all-star event, non-points event, although Pursley has won 13 times. 4 of those wins came a year ago in the West Series. He's looking to notch an all-star win and a win at Daytona. How prestigious would that be to put on your resume?
Winning a tricycle race at Daytona is awesome.
So as long as you can say you won at Daytona, pretty impressive feat.
I tell you, they have to be careful here the first few laps on cold tires. You watch a late model race, watch a modified race, cold tires seems like it's pretty treacherous out there. So it's already slicking. I'm sure it just makes it slicker.
Remember, look how much heavier these cars are than the modifieds that just ran. These cars here weigh anywhere from 3,150 to 3,225 pounds without the drivers.
Teammates nose to tail on the inside line. Pursley and Haley in the Fords as they work their way through 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. We're underway from Daytona.
Well, Derek Thorne drove it hard into the corner to try to stay out in front of Cameron Hale, and he's able to do it.
Holds on to that second spot, rocketing down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Pursley has the advantage. And Thorne hard into the inside, tries to take the top spot away as they come out of lap 1. Pursley's got the lead.
Nice job by Ben Kennedy to pull into the 3rd position ahead of Cameron Haley.
Kennedy looking good in his heat as far as setting up these lineups, and now he's moved up to the 3rd spot in this race.
There's a 17 right there of David Mayhew. He did a great job. 3 wide. Greg Galding on the inside of the Krispy Kreme car.
Greg Galding, an impressive move to the inside to take positions away. Now he's working to the inside of that 17 of David Mayhew.
As you mentioned, probably the youngest driver ever to run in this series at just 15 years and 9 days. Did an outstanding job in his heat race to finish 4th.
Now he's working that inside line. Mayhew on the outside. He's got Michael Self behind him now, working to the inside of that 21.
David Mayhew pulls over to the inside. Said, I'm done with the outside for now.
Self looking to the inside of that 20 of Greg Galding. Galding still has the advantage. Self working the inside line, trying to get by. A little damage already to the 98 of Dylan Kwasniewski.
Yeah, Dylan has made the move over to Turner Scott Motorsports from the Gene Price team. Going to run the full East schedule this year. This is his debut with Turner Scott Motorsports.
I can tell you already, though, these guys are a lot cleaner in the modified race. Already running, what they run, 4 laps, green flag. That's impressive already.
Jinx it, Joey. Don't
right.
jinx it. And it has been a clean race. As you talked about the cold tires getting temperature in them now. They talked about earlier today the track getting a little bit slick. It was almost 80 degrees earlier. The temperature dropped now that the sun has gone down.
Yeah, most of the crew chiefs really expecting some of the grip to come back as it cooled off tonight.
But Dylan Wisniewski working to the inside now of Gray Gaulding. Gray running well on that high line though still. Trying to hold his position, hold that 98 down so he can't get to the power as early, but he does make the pass. Dylan Wisniewski gets by. Here comes Mayhew now on the inside as well.
Caution's out.
Caution comes out. The 0. Jorge Getter stopped on the track. Just inside of turns 3 and 4. So our first caution will come out.
Now's when it gets interesting too. When you have these double file restarts.
Double file restarts, but these guys seem like they're pretty tamed right now. They know it's a long race and it's survival at this point, I believe.
Let's take a look at what happened to this 98 and how he received that damage to the right front.
Yes, he's already got a little bit of the damage there.
And it looks like a little bit of body parts
off another car.
Yeah. So again, Dylan Wisniewski, the West Series champion from a year ago, went to victory lane 3 times, has 5 career wins.
Never finished out of the top 10 all last season.
Consistency can win a championship, can it?
Incredibly consistent.
Just 17 years old. We talk about this series and these drivers all trying to make a name for themselves, be seen by the Cup owners, the Nationwide owners, the truck owners, a stepping stone for them.
Yeah, some of these guys like Dylan are certainly on somebody's radar. Turner Scott Motorsports in particular for him.
Yes, for sure. And I'll tell you something else not to forget about. This is like an all-star race. There is no points out there. These guys are all out there for the trophy and winning at Daytona.
I think we've seen that in the last 2 races, the modified and last night.
They had the same theory, I believe. So we haven't seen a clean finish yet. So I wouldn't expect anything different yet.
Vic Pursley, one of the California drivers, 45 years old, one of the elders in this field.
Derek Thorne in the 6-car right behind him drives Bob Ducati from the West Coast. Jason Bowles won the K&N West Series championship in that same car before he moved back east.
This will be an advantage for Ben Kennedy in that 96 because Ben will start right behind the 26 of Pursley. Thorne will have to move to the outside. Again, we'll go double file. And it has shown that the inside line here is definitely the preferred line.
Without a doubt here, there's a lot more rubber down than there was when these guys practiced yesterday. So you can at least maintain there just a little bit. But if you can get the guy on the inside to slip a little bit, then maybe you have a shot to get in front of him.
For sure. And you don't see the outside prevailing much and getting that big run on exit either. So I think it's definitely inside is going to prevail, and I think it's also safer. You see these dive bombs in this place. It looks really easy to do. These guys taking these big arcs and someone's going to slide the tires and get into you. So I think protecting the bottom is going to be something really important.
Bob Dillner, what's another story on the 96?
Well, Ben Kennedy told me today, you know, at first it was very hard to get used to this racetrack. He said you go down the backstretch, the super stretch here at Daytona, and you almost forget to turn in to turn number 3. It's difficult, and he's using those tire barriers as a marker to help him know when he has to turn in. Doing very well right now, but it's also a great story here at Daytona. Ben Kennedy, the great-grandson of the founder of NASCAR, and it was announced yesterday that he will compete in a handful of Camping World Truck Series races this year as well. He's certainly one of the rising young stars of our sport.
Thanks, Bob. 2x2 once again as they fall in behind the pace car. The lights are out on now. It will continue to go straight through turn number 3. The field back in the hands now of Greg Pursley, Derek Thorne on the outside, Kennedy, and that 24 of Haley making up row number 2. Lights come back on the pace car. Looks like they're going to go one more time around before we see that green flag. Our aerial coverage, beautiful coverage, brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
That's a great view to show you how narrow this racetrack is. When you get down to the corners, we talk about Martinsville Speedway and how narrow the radius of that corner. And these look like two Sonoma Turn 11s, don't they? Go on either end.
It does. It looks like one of those you got to go hand over hand and grab some more steering wheel for sure. But it looks just like Sonoma Turn 11 for sure. And we know what kind of havoc that brings in on the last few laps also. So you'll see the same things here, except 300 times.
Coming through 3 and 4 once again. Field all reset. Persley back in the gas, back underway.
Persley, another great start. Had a good initial start too.
Derek Thorne trying to hold on to that second spot. Ben Kennedy gets to the inside now. They battle door to door for the lead. Or second spot. Persley out in front. 3 wide going into turn 3.
Dylan Kwasniewski makes the move down to the inside. It looks like he's going to make it work.
Persley has the lead. Thorne holding on to second. And it's Ben Kennedy in third.
Saw some wheel hop out of Kwasniewski as he got down into the corner trying to get down there on that inside of that 3 wide battle.
Joe Conley in the 47. Hold on to the 4th spot.
I think Kwasniewski was very aggressive there, and it paid off for him. I think everyone's got enough give and take right now, but he's making the most of his restart.
Kwasniewski moves up in front of 21 of Michael Self. David Mayhew 3 wide, working through 1 and 2.
Greg Galding, the 20 car on the inside of Cameron Haley.
They have to remember this is a long race, 150 laps, 60 miles. No need to pit. They'll have enough fuel.
And most of the guys say really brakes were an issue here. Working on the brakes, getting these cars to stop well, and now you have to maintain these brakes for 150 laps.
Yeah, you're going to see him start glowing here in a hurry. And, yeah, trying to make him last and trying not to blow out a bead and melt in a bead. I think that's going to be something to look out for, too.
Kyle Larson in the 69, the only driver to try triple duty of the Battle of the Beach. He's made his way up to the 13th spot.
Nice move by Corey LaJoie trying to get to the inside of Darrell Haar, and he's going to make that work. C.J. Faison, the 39, gets the worst of that as well.
Larson made the move to the inside. Takes another spot away. This time it comes from Darrell Haar. Darrell and Carl Haar, father-son duo out of Canada. Here with us.
Both former champions.
Oh, around goes the 4 of Brian Ortiz.
Just a little bit of contact in the back. Let's see if the caution is going to come out. See, Brian's going to get it refired. We stay green.
Brian Ortiz gets it righted and back underway. Green flag stays out. Persley with just a 2-car length lead over Derek Thorne. And it's a couple car lengths back to Ben Kennedy holding on to that 3rd spot. Joe Conley running to the 4th position and around again. This time it's the 2 of Ryan Gifford or Michael Self in the 21. 21 of Self gets around. We stay green. We'll see if he's able to find a spot to slide back in.
Looks like he's refired and he's going to keep going.
That was pretty close with the 4 there, wasn't it?
Jumps in just behind Brian Ortiz.
And then right in front of our leader, Greg Persley. He was a little bit of debris on the racetrack.
Yep, sure enough. Not anymore.
Yeah, cleared that one out.
Yeah, Derek Thorne took care of that. You know, we talked about this international series. Ben Kennedy right there in the 96 car went over and won a race in the European series on a 0.4 mile flat oval.
Also had his career best finish in a very flat, small racetrack, Bowman Gray, the stadium. And a lot of people have said, you know, this is kind of like Bowman Gray, except stretched out. This wouldn't hold a football field in the middle. It's too narrow to have a football field in the middle of this racetrack.
Maybe 7-man football.
And Ben Kennedy running in the 3rd spot. Now, the leaders beginning to catch up to the slower lap traffic. That will come into play here.
Carl Haar, the 72 car, goes around just as our leader Persley gets there.
He's back out onto the racetrack. We stay green. Now Persley has closed in on the slower lap traffic. How will that affect him holding on to this lead?
So it's going to be challenging if these guys try to run the bottom of the racetrack. You see Michael Self right there kind of put the block on Persley for just a moment.
Self was running up in the top 10 before getting out of whack and into the infield area of this racetrack, but straightened back out. Now he's at the back of the field.
You see those front ends raise up as they exit the corner, trying to get that 620 horsepower down, and then they slam to the ground when they hit the brakes entering the corner.
Yep, and sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. But for the 26 car right now, I think that's what he wants. It's interesting to know or to think about how hard they're pushing it. You know, they got to run this whole race on one set of tires here. You know, is the cars leading now going to be the ones that are going to be at the end? I don't know. We'll have to see.
And remember, 25-lap heat race also on these tires.
Greg Pursley, the 45-year-old, out in front of the field at Daytona. Stay with us. Thursday, Joey Logano and NASCAR's biggest stars return to the World Center of Racing. The Budweiser Duel at Daytona. Don't miss 2 white-knuckle races that set the field for the Daytona 500. The Budweiser Duel at Daytona Thursday, 2 Eastern, live on Speed. You're also one of the stars. I didn't want to single you out and then say the stars.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Take a look at Pursley, our leader. Just a slight bit of brake rotor glow there. Watch him as he gets down in this corner.
And in comparison, we were looking at the rotors of the 4 of Brian Ortiz, and all 4 rotors lighten up on that number 4.
That's just putting heat in them tires. That's not going to be good for the long run.
There's the 4 of Ortiz that look like molten.
That's amazing.
Steel.
Well, and we always talk about the beads on these tires, sometimes melting. Reason being, you've got so much heat in these rotors on the inside of these tires, that could be a problem with tire failure.
It'll be interesting to see. You know, they're on that bias ply tire. I don't know if that makes a difference to that or not, but it seems like they're all holding together pretty well for as much heat he's got in his brakes right now.
Ray, it looks like Greg Pursley running pretty well on the track.
Absolutely, Rick. And, you know, we saw the modifieds out here earlier. Most of those teams have either 1 or 2 cars in their stable. But when it comes to K&N Pro Series, lots of these teams have 5, 6, or 7 cars to choose from. So I'm always curious, how do you determine which car you're going to bring to the racetrack? Well, for Greg Pursley, he said the car he's driving tonight was actually a backup car for his teammate a year ago, Dylan Kwasniewski. They really didn't race it much last year, but he said he felt like it would be good on a flat track. Now you're looking at the number 6 right there of Derek Thorne. That Sunrise Ford race car is running in 2nd right now. And Thorne told me that this particular race car was built for Mike Duncan a few years ago. His crew chief Bill Sedgwick said over the winter, let's put a composite body on it. We'll work really hard on suspension to get this thing good on flat tracks. And for whatever reason, Derek Thorne told me he feels like flat tracks have been his specialty over the years.
You know, Ray brought up a good point talking about composite bodies. They actually get a 75-pound weight brake over a steel body. They used to get a weight brake throwing a 110-inch wheelbase car over 105. They did away with that, but they still get a 75-pound weight brake for having a composite body, and that's the direction most of these guys have gone.
And here, it doesn't matter. That 75-pound weight brake means a lot more than aerodynamics. You've seen last night in a lot of late models, they were all kind of torn up. It does not matter here. They're not going fast enough.
And we have to remember, you guys talk about weight in these race cars. The composite body, a little bit lower weight, but they have to make sure they make that weight. So what they do is they have to add weight. Normally they put it in the frame rail, the lowest point of the race car. Help trouble. And we got trouble on the racetrack once again. This time the 2 of Ryan Gifford around, as well as the 0 of Jorge Getter and Brian Ortiz in the 4. That brings out our 2nd caution. We'll take a quick break and be right back to Daytona. Friday, it's 250 miles from the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. Decide the first winner in the Camping World Truck Series 2013 season opener. A year ago, the Cinderella story, John King got the win. Will we have another fantastic finish as we did in 2012? Welcome back to the no banks of Daytona, right here, the Unoh battle at the beach. The flat backstretch surface that has been made into the 4/10 mile racetrack for these K&N Pro Series. The free pass going to Martin Roy out of Quebec.
Do you know that on this day in 1996, Patrick Roy got his 300th win of a record 551 career wins as a goalie? No relation.
How did you know that?
Well, our stats guys took care of that.
Man, that's impressive.
Hey, did you know
at the time it was a record?
Did
anyway.
you know Roy was in goal for Montreal's worst loss, 11-1 to Detroit,
and they left him in there the whole time.
He had an off day.
Yeah. I liked it though because I'm from Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to say you're a Red Wings fan.
So who's not having an off day is Greg Pursley. He was just, it seemed like he was just cruising out front. passing lap cars like it was no problem. You know, it was just nice and easy, taking care of his stuff. He had no pressure from behind and just taking his time.
You said take care of his stuff. We've noticed that personally very little brake rotor blowing on that race car as opposed to pretty much all his competitors right now.
And that's the advantage of getting a move over flag. The guys are, you know, being given the move over flag that he's lapping, but he's setting his own pace right now. He doesn't have to worry about anything. And when he got to that lap traffic, man, did he put some distance on him in the second place car of Derek Thorne.
He had a huge gap for sure.
2 by 2 once again. The lights are off on the pace car. Pursley and Thorne. Ben Kennedy. The inside looks like Cale Conley in the 47. On the outside, making up row number 2. The birthday boy, David Mayhew, back there in row 3. Dylan Kwasniewski on his inside.
Going to want to watch out for Kwasniewski again. He was very aggressive on the last restart. I'd expect him to do the same thing.
What's the easiest time to get some positions? Right on the restart, isn't it?
It's when you got to make your money.
Told him one more time around before we see the green. So we'll go another lap. We've completed 48 of the 150 scheduled, 102 remaining.
This thing's buzzing right along compared to the modified race.
Don't jinx us.
Yeah, I don't
jinx us.
Yeah, cautions do breed cautions, unfortunately. So.
But as you talked about earlier, we have seen a relatively tame race as far as not a lot of aggression early in this one.
Well, I think these guys know they're used to running a lot of long races, and so they know that they have to save their stuff. And also, the fact that the tires are covered by fenders. You know, they don't have the exposed tires like the modified. So just a little bit of a nudge, tire to tire, with those modifieds would turn people around.
And upside down.
And upside down.
And they got to look out for fender rubs too. I mean, for the guys that do have steel bodies, you know, they knock that fender into that tire, cut down that right front in a hurry. So I think they're a little bit cautious of that.
And that's another reason a lot of the guys have gone to the composite body. In addition to the fact of the weight break, you don't worry about, you know, getting the tire rubbed with that composite body.
Exactly.
So again, 2 by 2. Pursley and Thorne. Greg Pursley on the inside, Derek Thorne on the outside. Ben Kennedy, Cale Conley making up row number 2. Pace cars left the racetrack and back in the hands of Greg Pursley. Green flag back in the air. Another great restart for Greg Pursley. Thorne able to jump right in behind, got into the bumper, got him a little loose. Here comes Derek Thorne on the inside.
How about that now, Derek Thorne? I think he was just trying to get in front of Ben Kennedy and found himself right up underneath Greg Pursley. Here they are side by side.
Bumping and banging 3 wide as they come out of turn number 4 for the lead. Pursley holds on to it. Here comes Kennedy to the inside of Thorne.
Joey, how about that power move from the outside for Pursley?
I tell you, got him hooked up there, but Kennedy had a really great move trying to put him 3 wide there. Could really make some time up there.
We'll see if he's able to take advantage of that inside line. Thorne on the outside, Kennedy on the inside. Cale Conley tucked in behind in 4th.
Side by side right now with Mayhew and Cameron Haley back for the 6th spot.
Pursley checking out on this group as they stay side by side for 2nd. Thorne now has the advantage. And they go down the back stretch and into 3. Take a look from turn number 1.
See a great restart by Pursley. We had trouble over in turn number
pile up the 17.
3 and 4.
David Mayhew's involved in it.
Is that Kwasniewski in the 98? It is.
I think it is.
Dylan Kwasniewski. So the caution will come out once again. And a lot of damage to the 17 of Mayhew.
You see part of that composite body and that left front fender and his rear bumper bar hanging out.
Was running in the 6th spot. Dylan Kwasniewski also involved. Will re-rack and reset the field when we come back. Welcome back. 17 of David Mayhew just coming out of the pit area. He'll make his way back to the racetrack. He was involved in our most recent caution. He and Dylan Kwasniewski piled up. Take another look at what happened.
Yeah, they're going to get seized up down there in the corner. You see Haley all of a sudden slowed. Corey LaJoie's in the back of Mayhew pushing him in. Looked like Haley and Kwasniewski made contact.
Yeah, it looked like there's something ahead of that just chain reaction.
You know, Pursley's been so good. Let's take a look at this last restart, Joey.
Here's something to see on the restarts I've been looking at. Pursley's been kind of holding up the field a little bit, letting the 6 car get ahead, and then when he gets to the restart line, he's going and getting that jump. He's done that the last 2-3 times here, and I know when you're up front there, you want to change it up and do a couple different things, so it'll be interesting if if Thorne is kind of caught up on that, and if they're going to change it up, do what they're going to do. It's all about the head games, man. It's all about the head games when you come in there.
So this is a chess game, not a race, right?
Well,
It's a high-speed chess game. Yeah, we're at Daytona still.
Exactly.
No draft though.
pretty normal short track restart there for him, wasn't it?
For sure, and he's had awesome forward drive, and he's going to the gas. He ain't spinning it at all. He's just going.
I was really impressed when he got behind Derek and made that move to get back around him from the outside. Tremendous forward bite.
Yes, for sure. That car is really good.
The car just in front of our leaders, Persley and Thorne. That's the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. He's our other 15-year-old in the field. He's going to get the free pass, so he'll go by the pace car and tuck into the back of this field.
And yes, that is Joe Nemechek's son, John Hunter.
Bringing the 8 around. They go 2 by 2 once again, all in line behind Persley and Thorne. 2 Fords out in front of Chevrolet of Ben Kennedy and the Toyota of Conley.
See that 28 car right of your screen? That's our Canadian champion, DJ Kennington. He started last. He got spun out on the last lap in his heat race, and he's already made his way up just outside the top 10.
Coming out of 4. Here we go once again on the restart. Persley laying back. Thorne tries to jump. And sure enough, green flag back in the air.
Start that time.
I'm telling you, to me, I think Persley's better off letting the 6 stay to his outside. That way he doesn't have to deal with it getting run into in the center of the corner.
I agree. Caution's out. That looks like it's that John Hunter, right?
John Hunter Nemechek. A lot of damage to the front. Got into the back of someone. Also the 19 of Chuck Buchanan. Just outside of turns 3 and 4.
See water coming. I believe he's busted the radiator in that car. You see water pouring out of it.
I'd say water and then some coming with that fire.
There's so much damage. he got under somebody quite a bit.
Tough break. You just got the free pass to get back on the lead lap.
But at the back of the field.
Let's see what happened here.
Looked like the 19 got a little bit loose, and when he did it, stalled his momentum, and John Hunter just ran in the back of him.
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds good.
Brings the 4th caution out. We'll be right back. Before the green flag drops on the Budweiser Duel, turn to speed for a special edition of NASCAR Race Day. Our experts deliver the ultimate setup for a wild day of racing. It sets the field for the Daytona 500. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, Thursday, Wanting Street, right here on Speed. You think it could be as wild as the 2 races we've already seen here at the Battle of the Beach?
I'm sure it will be. Eventually.
They're taking care of John Hunter Nemechek's car. They'll take that back to the pits. We'll be right back. Working caution 4 for the UNOH Battle at the Beach. 65 laps in the books of the 150 lap feature for the K&N Pro Series. Again, an all-star event featuring East and West drivers as well as international drivers.
Putting some speed orb down there.
And fuel fluid coming out of the 8. John Hunter Nemechek has made the safety crews here go to work trying to get some of that fluid off the track.
That's a lot of speedy dry.
And as they are cleaning up this track, we'll take another quick break, get it out of the way so we see more green flag racing. It's a dust storm here in the back stretch of Daytona. The 2013 NASCAR season is here. Get in on all the action with Fox Fantasy Racing. Pick your team of 5 drivers and challenge your friends for cash prizes. Go to foxsports.com/fantasy racing. Sign up now and pick Joey Logano for the Daytona 500. How about that?
That's right.
Fun? New manufacturer, new owner, and a new trophy to put in the trophy.
Big old trophy.
Car looked pretty good in the Unlimited the other night.
Yeah, I tell you, it wasn't bad, and I think our 500 car is a lot better too. So I'm looking forward to getting some practice in tomorrow and seeing how it is in the draft. You know, I think the handling is going to be coming into play for sure, but.
Talked about the Unlimited, and just in front of you, this took place.
Did a nice job missing that when you see it going by right on the apron there. You and Kevin Harvick, who eventually got to victory lane.
Yeah, there we are. Just not enough time there for Maine. Just need a little bit more push there, but overall, for the first race of the new team, we'll take that. We'll build some momentum off that, so it's cool for the Shell Pennzoil guys to have a good run and have some fun working with the new spotter with Tab, and he did a great job also.
Went from 6th to 3rd on the last lap. That wasn't too bad. You just needed one more lap.
It's making it happen, man. Just need some more.
They're about to make it happen here as we've completed 69 laps on lap 70. 80 laps to go when they get back to the stripe. Pursley on the inside, Derek Thorne on the outside. Green flag back in the air. Speed soar. Little bit left on the racetrack. Will it affect them as they work their way through 1 and 2? Look at Cale Conley. Cale Conley slides all the way out, almost to the wall. A few other drivers trying to work their way through 1 and 2, but Pursley and Thorne clean through the first 2, and around goes, looks like the 71. That's going to be Darrell Hard spinning in 3 and 4. He gets it straightened back out, and we stay green.
We got a slow one here up at 4.
Looks like the 90.
Martin
Watt. And the caution's going to come out as he can't get it going in turn 4.
So is Martin Patrick Raw's brother, or
No.
how's that work?
No.
No. Okay.
The same name.
And actually, I went to Martin before the race yesterday, and I said, I just want to make sure I get the pronunciation right. And as I'm standing there, he goes, it's Martin Roy. I said, no, it's not. He goes, well, I don't think people will be able to say it correctly, so Martin Roy. All right, we'll work on it. We're working on our 5th caution. Under the lights of Daytona for the UNOH. Northwestern Ohio battle at the beach from Daytona International Speedway. Turning in for Dreams to Champions. That's coming up next here on Speed. A little bit of a lengthened modified race.
We're going to crown a champion here shortly. About another 75 laps.
Just past the halfway point, you see the damage to the front end of Dylan Kwasniewski's 98. That Chevrolet got into the back of someone. So he makes his way back onto pit road and back to the pits.
Undoubtedly he was overheating or something because he was still on the lead lap. A long way down there to the hot pit area on the chicane of the road course. He's actually going to take it right back to the garage area.
That's it for Dylan Kwasniewski. They still take it back to the hauler where they can do more extensive work.
But certainly puts them out of contention for any kind of a decent finish here.
Pursley and Thorne, it's been this way since the drop of the green flag. And Thorne has been getting better, I think, on these restarts. Challenged Pursley.
For sure, and at that time it seemed like he was content on just getting in line. He's not getting hung out on the outside. He had a big gap from the 3rd place car. Just got it down to the bottom and started clicking off some laps again. I'll tell you something we haven't talked about is Corey LaJoie breaking into the top 5. You know, he said his car wasn't very good, but maybe survival and passing a couple here and there. He's moving his way up there.
Yeah, started back from 12th, so he's made a nice move towards the front.
Yeah, and you don't see much damage. A little bit on the front,
yeah,
which is better than the back. So
he got into the back of someone earlier, but they were already into the brakes, so slid underneath and slid back out before any extensive damage to that car.
Yeah, that's when Kwasniewski and Mayhew were involved in that incident.
Coming out of turn 4, Pursley and Thorne side by side. Green flag back in the air.
You see Thorne get right back behind the 26 car once again.
Thought about taking a peek underneath and couldn't quite get it down there.
Just see the 26 car. As soon as he gets into the gas, thing just lights up and goes.
Corey LaJoie. Also Ben Kennedy involved. Those two sideways. In turn 3 and 4, Kennedy waiting. See if he can get going again. The caution comes out.
There was contact behind. Somebody ran into the back of Corey LaJoie, and that knocked him into Ben Kennedy.
Not a lot of damage, it looks like, to the 96 of Ben Kennedy. Corey LaJoie a little bit more. Battle for 3rd as this took place.
It's going to be the 47 of Cale Conley. He gets in the back of the 07, and then he in turn gets into the 96 of Ben Kennedy.
Greg Gaulding in the 20 trying to make his way around on the inside, but Conley gets into the back of that 07. Chain reaction into the 96 of Ben Kennedy. They go around.
And that's something Conley, I mean, if he even checked up a little bit, looked like the 20 was going to be right behind him, spinning him out. So that just seems like tight racing and just flat corners and trying to stop these heavy race cars.
I think it was just a moment ago I mentioned that there were only 3 cautions. We've doubled that.
We've taken care of that, haven't we?
We're up
Done
to
a
6.
good job.
6 cautions. Corey LaJoie involved in this one. Green flag just coming out, coming into turns 3 and 4. Around goes Derek Thorne, battling for the top spot, and he goes the wrong direction. But we stay green.
Still
we'll
battle
they hold on to it. Battle for the lead.
Teammates, Cameron Haley, the 24 on the inside. Pursley on the outside. Pursley has it.
We stay green. Pursley back in front. How about the battle? 3-way battle for the lead. Derek Thorne around.
How about Greg Galding, 15 years old now. Oh, 3 wide. Michael Self makes it 3 wide for a moment.
Joe Conley in the 47. Michael Self in the 21. And Greg Galding in that 20.
That was one crazy restart. A lot of bump and runs and spinning out.
Pursley in front of Cameron Haley.
A little contact. 47 of Cale Conley, the 20 of Greg Galding makes some contact. Here comes DJ Kinnington. Remember, started all the way at the back now. Has made his way up to the 6th spot.
Trying to break into the top 5. That's the Napa number 28. DJ Kinnington, your Canadian Tire Series champion. First ever start for the 20 of Greg Galding. He's running extremely impressive in the top 5. Let's take a look at the last restart.
Hey, you see the 6 get back in behind the 26 car, but he gets in the back of him here one more time. We'll see here in a second.
There's a little bit of contact right there. That opens up the bottom for the 24 Haley. Now Haley is side by side with Pursley. And watch what happens when they get down to this end of the racetrack. The 6 comes down on the 20 of Greg Galding, and around he goes.
You seen Greg Galding had that left front locked up. He was trying everything he can do, but once that thing locks up, it does not turn.
They continue to battle for the lead, the teammates. And it was Pursley who was able to get out in front, holding on to that top spot once again.
Guys, remember the 21 car of Michael Self was on the verge of going a lap down not that long ago, and here he is now running 3rd.
And out of this race, standing back in the garage area, Bob Dillner with a very disappointed Dylan Kwasniewski.
Dylan Kwasniewski out of his race car. The last incident took you out of the race, but what put you in this predicament?
You know, I just got ran over by my ex-teammate. The guy that took my place ran me over. Nothing we can do about it. I mean, we had a great race car. Thanks to World Purple and Rockstar for giving me that. I definitely had a chance to win the thing, but, you know, we just got unlucky and nothing we can do about getting run over. But, I mean, thanks Turner Scott Motorsports for giving me a great car and giving me a chance to go out here and compete with these guys.
The driver he's talking about is Cameron Haley.
Cameron Haley right now holding on to the 2nd spot. The battle for 3rd between Michael Self and Greg Galding.
I think Greg Galding is doing a whale of a job right now, running up in the top 5 with some great tough competitors. Michael Self won 3 races last year, including dominating the finale at Phoenix for the West Series.
I don't think we can state enough. Greg Galding, just 15 years old, 15 and 9 days, youngest competitor in the K&N Pro Series, making his first start in the K&N Pro Series. Expected to run the full season this year, going to run for Rookie of the Year.
Joey started much like you, Bandoleros and then Legend cars. And how much would a Legend car help you, like running at Atlanta Motor Speedway on that flat quarter-mile or Charlotte Motor Speedway?
It's probably the closest racetrack to this, and this is a great stepping stone for him, especially coming into the season this year, running the K&N Pro Series, getting a race under his belt without points, not worrying about anything, just going out here, learn what you can, and he's doing a great job with that already.
How about respect? Earning respect of his competitors at a tough racetrack with really the all-stars of this series.
For sure, and that's something that takes some time. But a lot of these kids in this series are still somewhat new. So it shouldn't be as hard for him to earn the respect out there as it would be if you were to get into the trucks or a nationwide card. But it's still a great way to start learning that and get through it. It's just check up there.
Had to check up as the 19 came flying in. Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, with you guys mentioning Dylan Kwasniewski moving to the East Series this year after winning the championship in the K&N Pro Series West, I asked Greg Pursley, who will be your toughest competition this year? You make the assumption Pursley's the guy to beat. He said, obviously, Michael Self has really made some great progress as a driver. He's going to be running full-time. I think he's the guy I got to beat, including my teammate Cameron Haley also. So he thinks it's a 3-car race for sure, and he puts Michael Self in there as a contender for the championship this year in the West.
Oh, Michael Self locks up the left front as he got down in the corner. Was able to get the car turned anyway. But I think you're exactly right. As we mentioned, he really came into his own as a driver last year, winning 3 times in this very, very challenging West Series.
Greg Pursley has about a half a second lead over his teammate Haley.
Cameron Haley is about the only guy who's been able to keep up with Greg Pursley all night. He's struggling to keep up, but he's right there. And, you know, 26 car slips up, he's going to be there. So, but you've seen Greg do a great job getting through traffic the whole time here.
2 teammates separated by 29 years between Pursley and Haley. Is that a mentoring situation there that Pursley's going to try to help out Haley?
Well, he did help out
right now.
Did help out Dylan Kwasniewski, and Dylan gave a lot of credit to Greg Pursley. Took him under his wing a little bit. Dylan started when he was right at 15 and a half, 16 years old. The year before last, did a great job finishing the top 5 in points after missing a race because he wasn't approved yet to run Phoenix. And then he came into his own again, as we mentioned. Not one finish outside the top 10 the entire 15-race schedule last year.
Race leaders already into the back of the slower lap traffic now. As we see Greg Pursley going by Martin Waugh.
We see that lap car getting in front of the 24. Not what he wanted.
Yeah, tough break right that time for Cameron Haley.
Bob, I think he caught up with another driver that didn't want to be in the garage yet.
That's right. A disappointing evening for John Hunter Nemechek running the K&N Pro Series for the first time. What put you out of the race?
Well, we had just got our lucky dog and got our lap back there, and we were coming to the green, but we should have got up farther when they doubled up. But it's a tough night. A guy stopped in front of us, and there was no place to go. So it's a tough night, but we'll rebound from it and go get them at the next one.
15 years old and a chip off the old block, Rick.
Yeah, it's probably bedtime. Some of these guys, I mean, we ran a little bit late. Yeah. My son's 15 years old. I would be telling him right now it's time for bed.
Time for me to go to bed.
But he just came out of running in an all-star race in Daytona.
Right now it's time for the 6 of Derek Thorne to get going. He's got the leader right behind him. Remember, Derek had a great car early, got spun around racing for 2nd and 3rd on the verge of going a lap down. And there's Corey LaJoie also. Remember, Corey's a couple laps down because of the spin in a stalled car.
Yeah, these 2 cars are going to be really hard for Greg Pursley to. Well, there goes the 07. That one was easier to pass than I thought.
Off into the pit area for Corey LaJoie. We saw the rotors glowing on the 6. You can still see that of Derek Thorne trying to work his way back up, but he has race leader Greg Pursley right on his back bumper now.
Oh, Greg locked the rear brakes up, getting in the corner that time.
Nowhere to go for Pursley, trying to find a way around these slower lap cars.
Just goes to show he's starting to feel a little bit of that pressure with 43 laps to go. And we got
some trouble right in front. Oh,
it's Sergio Pena in the 16, and it looks as though the 2 of Ryan Gifford also around. That brings out our 7th caution. So we'll re-rack, get a 2x2 once again. We'll get to the lineup when we come back. It's the battle at the beach. Speed's presentation of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series from Daytona is brought to you by G-Oil. G-Oil is the official motor oil of the Daytona 500. Save the earth, sacrifice nothing. Our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. That's a great shot. This 4/10 mile racetrack. You get no exterior walls in the corners. So as you talked about, that depth perception of trying to figure out when to get into the brakes, very difficult from this track.
Yeah, but it might be a good thing there's no outside wall. We see a lot of these guys spinning out. There'd be a lot more tore up race cars. So a lot of cars are being saved with not really having an inside wall either. what I'm surprised about is they haven't hit the tire barriers through the center of the corner. I know at Sonoma, you know, we have those tire barriers going through turn 11. And throughout the race, we push them in a little bit further and further before we shortcutting it a lot. And it seems like those things are really holding in there. Must be filled with concrete or something.
No, they're not. Yeah, saw them move earlier.
I think in one of the heat races, I think somebody got in at the exit of turn number 2. Turn number 4, I'm sorry.
Greg Pursley, Cameron Haley, 1 and 2. We take a look at Michael Self and Greg Gaulding. Those two have had a pretty good little battle for third throughout this race.
Gray's going to be at a bit of a disadvantage with the outside on the restart. We'll start outside second row.
Sergio Pena's 16 just went by. A lot of damage to the hood and front end of that race car. Ben Kennedy, after battling in the top 5, involved in an incident, got shuffled to the back, but has made his way back up to the 8th spot.
Still on the lead lap. Kyle Larson right now is running in the 9th spot. We haven't talked a whole lot about Kyle. There he is right there, the 69 car. His last ride for Rev Racing. You see Curb Records on the side of that Camry.
Kyle Larson.
Kyle's a kid. He races a lot. Every time I'm on Twitter, I see he's racing here, he's racing there. I'm like, man.
123 times last year.
I'm jealous. I want to race more too.
He's racing 5 times down here. Already ran second the ARCA race, won last night. Ran the modified race, running tonight, and will run the nationwide race later this week.
I wouldn't consider you two rednecks, but do you think you're faster than a redneck?
I'm not too sure.
At times.
Well, if you remember John Reed, his mullet mafia are going to be pitted against the imports in the 3-round battle for $10,000 paycheck. Are you faster than a redneck? That special preview is going to be after the trucks race Friday right here on Speed.
I saw some clips from that show. It's going to be really funny.
Yeah, American muscle cars up against imports. And it's legit racing. I mean, they're going after it.
So we got a new lineup here coming to the green. We still got the 26 car, but second, third, fourth are all different cars that haven't been this close to the front yet. So interesting to see what they're going to do with 36 laps to go.
I'm not sure why the 16 is lined up on the outside. That's Sergio Pena.
I just believe the patients are going to be out the window pretty soon.
We're not showing Sergio Pena.
Yeah, he's
currently in the 4th spot, but he's lined up in that position.
He's really screwing up Greg Gaulding.
We'll see if they leave him up there or if the lights will come back out on the pace car.
You see the 3 wide even behind that. I think everyone's a little confused.
It looks as though they're going to let him go. Nope. They're calling him back off. Pace car's going to jump back in front of him.
Yeah, they got to get that 16 of Sergio Pena out of line there. He's cars that are a lap down will line up behind all the lead lap cars on restarts, and he was one of the cars that's at least 1 lap down and should not have been up there.
He almost got away with it.
Yeah,
that'd have been pretty good for him. See, this guy's overheating.
A lot of steam coming out.
That's Carl Haar, along with his son Daryl, both former Canadian Series champions, Nascar Series. You see Sergio Pena also overheating with that Napa Auto Parts Toyota.
Sergio Pena ran the E-Series last year.
That's a couple years.
Yeah, now he's going to make the transition with Bill McAnally. He's going to go out to the West Series.
Yeah, I talked to Bill earlier in the garage area, and they're actually going to run some East races as well with Sergio Pena and the Napa car.
Hey, Sergio and I had one heck of a race out in Irwindale with the Toyota All-Star Showdown out there.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, we had a heck of a race. So he's a really good driver. It seems like he's got the right opportunity, get the right experience, and you can see with his nose all stoved in, he's overheating too.
Yeah, Sergio got the victory lane 3 times in the East Series over the last couple of years. Yeah, we did that race right here on Speed, and that was a great battle between you and Sergio.
Well, and I remember talking about how impressed we were with this young man, Sergio Pena, being able to run against Joey and really gave you about everything you could handle in that race before you came out victorious. But then the next year, we didn't see a lot out of Sergio Pena. It seemed like he kind of fell off.
Yeah, that part really confused me. I mean, we had a lot of fun out there racing, and I was in Mike Olson's car. We were having a good old time with that, and here we are going green.
Pursley on the inside, his teammate Cameron Haley on the outside. Green flag back in the air. 33 laps of racing to go.
Another nice restart by Pursley. Michael Self is going to jump into the second spot.
Yep. Haley drops back to third. Self takes over second.
That was another one.
Conley moved to the inside. Very aggressive move on the 24 of Haley. He's going to steal that spot.
And how about the 20 of Greg Gaulding? He's going to get by Cale Conley to take over third.
Now Michael Self running in the second spot. Sparks flying out from underneath the right side of that 21, but he has quite a bit of damage to that race car. Greg Gaulding, as you mentioned, makes his way up into the third spot.
There's DJ Kennington, the 28 other Napa car, back up into the top 5 here from starting last.
3 wide down the front stretch.
Just goes to show there's nothing on the outside right there on that restart. 24 car went all the way to.
He's dropped to 6th already, hasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Racing on the outside of DJ Kennington right now, trying to hold on to that spot. Ryan Ortiz right on the back bumper of that group.
Cale Conley jumps to the inside of Greg Gaulding in a battle for third.
Third place, side by side. Gaulding on the outside. Conley on the inside has a preferred line. How will they do through 3 and 4?
Cale Conley was a winner in the series last year. Won at Columbus Motor Speedway, Columbus, Ohio, for his first career win.
Conley takes third away.
Conley's doing a really good job out-braking guys into the corner. You see, he gets to him, he shows his nose, and he's able to out-brake them without sliding up the racetrack, and that's how he's making his passes. He might want to stay where he's at, be in third place, banking on another caution. That might be where you want to be for the last restart.
You think another caution's going to come out?
Chances are, we've had 7, so why not have one more?
28 laps to go as they continue to click off out in front. Pursley. Michael Self has moved up to that second spot. Cale Conley holding on to third. Greg Gaulding in fourth. DJ Kennington in top 5.
Yeah, that last restart really cost Cameron Haley. Restarted in the second spot. It's fallen all the way back to 6th. Can't really do anything. Remove cautions on the racetrack.
I told you.
You predicted it. 37 of Dylan Fresnel running in the 12th spot.
Dylan was one of the last cars on the lead lap. Sergio Pena's made his way into the hot pits.
And the the fluid running out from underneath that car, but you can see why.
Yeah, absolutely no air getting to the radiator, Ray.
Yeah, and that was the problem, Phil. The temperature was rising rather quickly, and you can see Sergio has taken his helmet off, going to climb out of this Napa number 18. They are done for the night here at Daytona.
There's no need to try to fix these things and get back out there because there's no points. So, all for the money.
It was the prestige of being able to win at Daytona and taken out of that mix. After this caution, we'll have 12 on the lead lap. The 28 that started this race. Pursley has been dominant. He and Derek Thorne, the only 2 that have been in front of the field. Pursley, can he hold on for the final 25? Stay with us. Welcome back. Coming out of turn number 4 for the restart. On the inside, it's Greg Pursley. And it looks like Pursley another good start. Conley comes to the inside. Conley hard into the inside. He's going to get into the 26 and turn him around. Cale Conley turns the leader. Greg Pursley around through 1 and 2.
We were talking during the commercial break. Joey said, watch his 47. He's really been driving deep in the corner.
He got a little much that time. He seen the second place car trying to get in front of him, and here's a replay of it. Yeah.
I don't think he had any intentions on running into Pursley. He was just trying to beat Michael Self for second.
Yeah, I think he wanted to get second there, and man, just a little bit, well, I say a lot bit too much.
Now what do you do with the 47 of Conley, who comes in and takes out the race leader?
Well, I think pretty much anything is gone these last couple of days.
Yeah, I will. Well, I wouldn't say everything. I've seen some guys get thrown to the rear for spinning guys out. So I really don't know.
We'll have to see what happens. Again, this was on the restart. Pursley goes around. Conley just looks like he dive bombs in there, like you said, trying to get by Michael Self.
Yeah, but it looked like the 26 also didn't think he was going to be there, and he was coming and running his line and trying to get down to those tires. So
yeah, Greg probably wasn't running a very defensive line there.
Exactly. I don't think the 47 did much wrong there. I mean, he was definitely he was in there, and I don't think the 26 knew he was there. And I'd say a little bit of aggressive driving and a little bit of a racing deal.
And I guess we're gonna let the 21 of Michael Self restart in front of the 47. The 26 of Persley is all the way back to 11th now, but remains on the lead lap.
And Persley leading all the 3 laps up to that point.
13 on the lead lap. Well, Dowler will get the free pass, be able to go by the pace car and tack onto the back of this field. So now Michael Self on the inside will be your race leader, Cale Conley, in the 47 on the outside.
Greg Gaulding may be in a pretty good spot here, lining up inside second row in that Krispy Kreme car.
DJ Kennington in the 28 on the outside of Greg Gaulding.
And there's still 19 to go, and I don't think this will be the last caution either.
Predicting again.
Predicting again. We'll have another one.
Field working their way through 3 and 4. This time itself holding on to that coveted inside spot as they come out onto the front stretch. Green flag back in the air. And finally, Cale Conley misses a gear on the restart. Now Greg Gaulding on the inside trying to hold on to second. Here comes DJ Kennington battling on the outside for that position.
Cale Conley did a great job getting back to where he did. He could have lost a lot more than that. How about Brian Ortiz just to the inside of DJ Kennington?
Derek Thorne was over the back bumper as Cale Conley trying to get by him. Self, Gaulding, 1 and 2. Brian Ortiz works to the inside of DJ. Ortiz will take the 3rd spot away.
Let's see if Cale Conley can drive it in there and get to the inside of Kennington as well.
DJ Kennington in the Napa 28. Now trying to hold on to a position with Cale Conley coming up on the inside.
Cale's been able to get into that corner really, really hard.
Conley making the pass on the 28, so he takes that away. Cale Conley up to 5th.
Derek Thorne's going to find his way back into this battle.
He's been methodically moving up through the field one at a time.
Michael Self, Greg Gaulding, 1 and 2. Less than 15 laps of racing to go.
See Greg Persley trying to fight his way back up into the top 10. Right now running in the 8th spot.
Persley working to the inside of 96 of Ben Kennedy.
Persley's an angry driver with a fast race car.
And running out of time.
Always fun to watch.
There's your race leader, Michael Self, in the 21. Greg Gaulding is behind him in the 20. Brian Ortiz in the 4. It's Cale Conley in the 47. Those are your top 4. Derek Thorne's made his way back up into the top 5. He runs in 5th.
I think Greg Gaulding might have something for him. Looks like his car is rotating a little bit better in the 21.
21 overdrove the corner that time, Joey.
He's definitely feeling the pressure out there.
This from a 15 years, 9-day-old Greg Gaulding.
And he's racing against the 22-year-old Michael Self, who, as you mentioned before, won 3 races a year ago. And this is the first start for Greg Gaulding.
Remember, this is a triple header, right? We had the late model race last night and the modified race earlier. The 2 race winners have led a total of 3 laps in those 2 wins.
Last lap passes. You see the sparks from the front end of that 21. Part of the body coming off of the right front of that 21, and you see part of the body already gone on the left side.
It looks like Self got back into a little rhythm here. He's pulling back away. Calm down a little bit. Start clicking laps off again.
It's just 10 laps to go from Daytona. The battle at the beach continues. Michael Self in front of Greg Gaulding, Brian Ortiz, Cale Conley, and Derek Thorne.
You're about a 10.5 quicker for Michael Self the last couple laps than Greg Gaulding. Derek Thorne now is going to try to get to the inside of Cale Conley. Not able to do it that time.
They get it there.
Got it now.
Third line, Cale Conley on the outside. Derek Thorne on the inside. Those 2 racing for the 4th spot.
These 2 have been racing really hard, so I don't think they're going to give each other anything.
They stay side by side, door to door.
Nice pass by Derek Thorne to move up to the 4th spot.
1 and 2 down the backstretch.
I'm kind of throwing out. If he can get one more car and get a caution, it might not be over.
From the field is Michael Self. The gap between he and Greg Galding, about 4 car lengths. The laps continue to wind down. 7 remaining. Does Galding have anything for Self?
Self has to just concentrate on hitting his marks. The only time he got in trouble was when he overdrove the corner.
They're forward. Now all over the back bumper of Ortiz. Looking to the inside. Ortiz shuts the door.
See the 26. Greg Pursley has caught the 47 of Cale Conley.
That'll be interesting.
This time by. It'll be 5 laps remaining. Pursley all over the back bumper. Cale Conley. Conley still holding on to the spot. These two side by side for position. Derek Thorne on the inside. Ortiz on the outside. That's a race for 3rd.
And they both know how important this spot is for the end of this race. Obviously, right there, they know it.
Nice crossover move by Brian Ortiz right there. Let's see if it's going to work for him.
That was real pretty.
Under 4 laps of racing to go. Self with about a 4-car lead.
Oh, yeah.
And a little bumping and banging now. Pursley not happy about the way he had to work his way back through traffic. Conley all over the back bumper once again.
I don't think Greg Pursley's too happy with how he got the lead taken away from him.
This might not end pretty.
They continue to work their way around under 3 laps to go. Michael Self comes out of turn 4. Just 2 remaining when he crosses the stripe. He's got a comfortable lead.
Oh, we got trouble.
Greg Galding, and around goes the 47. Ben Kennedy had to check up. 47 stopped in the middle of the track. Will the caution come out before they get the white flag? It does. We will have another restart.
Oh, boy. This is going to be awesome.
What a horrible break for Greg Galding. Now he will have to restart on the outside, albeit the front row.
I tell you, if he gets a good start and you can pin him down hard and try to get that straight launch off the corner, he can't do it. It's going to be tough, but I think he can do it.
We talked about this event. No points on the line. This is a win at all costs.
$20,000 worth of win.
$1,000 for first, $7,000 to second. A lot of bumping and banging between the 26 and 47, as well as a 24.
It's going to last about 1 more lap, and the 47 right there is going to get turned around. DJ got into the back of him.
Tried to get it straightened back out.
Those are not victory donuts, by the way.
Kennington gets right underneath, lifts the rear wheels of that 47 off the ground.
Ben Kennedy does a nice job avoiding the 47 of Cale Conley.
Still on the lead lap, Michael Self, Greg Galding, Thorne, Ortiz, Pursley, Haley, Kennington, Larson, Kennedy, Gifford, Dowler, and Conley.
That was a previous lap. Greg Pursley getting to the back of the 47. He wasn't real happy about how he lost the lead to the 47.
Yeah,
even though I don't think it was intentional on the 47's part to run into Pursley, but nonetheless it happened.
And there's the number 1.
Hand out of the window for Pursley.
And I don't know why the 47 was door slamming him there. I don't know why he would be mad at Pursley. But maybe there's something behind the scenes that we don't know.
3 attempts at a green-white checker finish. This will be our first try at it. Michael Self will be on the inside. Greg Galding will be on the outside of this restart. Derek Thorne was battling up there with Greg Pursley at the beginning of this race. Will have the inside line in row 2.
Yeah, Cale Conley right now is a lap down, so he will not be able to restart up here, and he will not be able to get the free pass because he caused the caution.
Good to know. This is going to be crazy. I'm excited. Freaking pumped.
Greg Galding again restarting on the outside of row number 1, right?
And Rick, keep in mind, Doug George is the crew chief for Gray Gaulding this year, and Doug, a former competitor in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West. He's a driver from the past, and he always has lots of advice. But I asked Doug, I said, how has it been working with this very young driver? Have you taught him a lot of things? And Doug said, actually, Ray, he's teaching me a lot of things.
A lot of lessons learned tonight for Gray Gaulding.
Remember, this is the restart that Greg Pursley lost the lead. Watch the 47, the red car of Cale Connolly. He's going to try to outbreak the 21 of Michael Self, and he gets in there so hard that he runs into the side and turns around our leader, Greg Pursley.
We saw the contact just moments ago between the two. No love lost. Here we come out of turn 4. Green flag in the air. Michael Self, Gray Gaulding, 1 and 2. Derek Thorne on the inside. They're trying to make it 3 wide, coming out of turn number 2.
Brian Ortiz misses the corner completely.
Gray Gaulding.
It's a big block.
Look to the inside. Here comes Thorne for the final turn. As they come through 3 and 4, white flag goes in the air. One more time around.
Nice job by Gray Gaulding to hold on to second.
Comes the boot.
And in the back of the 21, the 20 of Gray Gaulding. They pile up. The white flag has already been shown. And Gray Gaulding working his way down the backstretch. Coming through 3 and 4.
Oh, he overdrove the corner. Can he make the corner?
Here comes the 24 on the inside. Cameron Haley. Gray Gaulding. Haley's going to get the checkered flag.
What a race. That was crazy.
We figured there might be a crazy finish at the end of this one.
Yeah, no one's really ran a clean race for the win yet, and I'm pretty glad to see Haley win that after all that whole mess down at turn 2.
Kyle Larson with a flat left front tire. He was involved in the skirmish there at the end. Gray Gaulding had it. All he had to do was get through the corner. It looked like he just overdrove the corner, and that opened up the bottom for Cameron Haley. And Cameron drove by on the inside. Let's take a look.
So the white flag comes out. Last lap. Gaulding looking to the inside. Gets into the back of the 21.
Pursley just didn't have quite enough room. You see the 20 of Gaulding force the 24 up into the outside wall. We're going to get through this corner. Look at him lock the brakes up, Joey.
All locked up. Here comes the 24. With plenty of momentum to get him to the start-finish line. That's 3 races and 4 laps led combined. And all of them been last lap passes for the win.
Little bump there from the 20.
The 26 gets in the back of the 6. You see DJ Kennington around.
Pursley get into that one too. It's unfortunate. I feel like the fastest car.
Yeah, Pursley definitely the dominant car tonight, but won't be headed to victory lane.
Looked like it was Gray Gaulding, but nonetheless, Gray Gaulding, as you see here, locked the front brakes up, slides high, opens up the bottom for the 24 of Cameron Haley, but I have a feeling that's not the last time we're going to hear from Gray Gaulding.
We might say his name a few more times this year. And how about Cameron Haley?
Makes the move over to Gene Price Motorsports and wins in his debut.
Larry McReynolds talked about the prestigious trophy that these race winners will receive. The replica trophy from the beach race that Fonnie Flott got back in the 50s. And it will go to the 24 of Cameron Haley winning the battle at the beach. Last night it was Kyle Larson celebrating his win. Earlier today, Steve Park wins in the modified, and now the final race being won by Cameron Haley. The battle at the beach goes to Cameron Haley and his 150-plus feature, 150-plus lap feature win.
Yeah, it was a battle, all right. And, you know, I think we set the tone last night. We set the tone last night when Kyle Larson really dumped C.E. Falk at the end of the race to win, and we've had the same thing happen twice today. We saw Steve Park get in the back. Now, Steve probably had some help.
He had a little help, but yeah.
But the leader was in the most vulnerable position for all 3 races.
Well, let's hear from our youngest driver in the K&N Pro Series. He's with Bob Dillner.
3 races here at the Battle of the Beach, 3 wild finishes. Take me through trying to get the lead and then trying to keep the lead there at the conclusion of this race.
Well, I just got to thank my team, everybody that's worked so hard, Krispy Kreme Donuts, Toyota, for all the great support. I hate having to do that, but I went in there and I felt like I got a little help and slid the brakes. So it's just one of them racing deals. You hate seeing that, but great finish coming to the line. Really excited for this upcoming season. Can't thank Steve Irvin and all the people that's dedicated so much time and effort in me.
How about trying to keep the lead there in that corner and sliding high? What happened?
Well, I thought I slipped in something. It was really slippery down there. I just hit the marbles and too late to come back. So I'm never going to forget this one. Daytona, it's amazing. This is my first race ever in a K&N car. So what amazing race, and just can't thank everybody that's worked so hard. It's 20, 30 years from now, I'm going to look back and say, you know what, man. But I'm really happy with second. Really good effort for this team and myself for our first time coming out here in the K&N Series.
The bump and run does not pay off for the 15-year-old. Ray Dunlap.
And Cameron Haley's about to climb out of this. Cabinets by Haley, number 24 from Calgary, Alberta. He had finished twice, a second-place run in the K&N Pro Series West, but tonight he's a winner in the Battle of the Beach. Welcome to Daytona, and how's Victory Lane feel?
Oh, I don't even know what to say. This is the most incredible moment ever. I mean, I've been waiting, well, I guess a year for this only, but I don't care. I got the first win. It's incredible here at Daytona. I don't even know what to say. It's amazing.
Talk about the opportunity that it presented to you this year to join this team in the team that Dylan Kwasniewski won the championship with, and to have Greg Pursley as a teammate.
Oh, man, it is huge. I mean, Gene Price at Gene Price Motorsports gave me a heck of a piece. I mean, all night it was back and forth, but he gave me the car to do this, and I mean, I couldn't be happier to be with this team, Jeff Jefferson, everybody. It's great.
We've had 3 races here at the Battle of the Beach and 3 wild finishes for sure, guys.
Thanks, Ray. Take a look at our results. Cameron Haley grabs his first win in the K&N Pro Series. Again, it's not going to go down in the record books as far as a win in points race, but he will definitely be able to brag about this one for quite some time.
I love to see the excitement that he's got in Victory Lane. You
He's
cannot
16,
reproduce that.
So he's not much older than the other kids we've talked about.
And remember, truthfully, Cameron didn't knock anybody out of the way.
Right.
You know, he wasn't the one that did that.
Took advantage of the opportunity.
But how about Ryan Gifford, though, with a 4th place finish? He got a free pass through the mid portion of the race and fights back for a top 5.
Jorge Getters finishes up 13. Dale Conley, 11th in that 47 car.
Guys that had some trouble, Sergio Pena, Corey LaJoie, both falling out. David Mayhew as well. And you see down there in 27th, Dylan Kwasniewski.
A lot of really big names there. They got wrecked out.
Champion from a year ago, Dylan Kwasniewski, wrecked out early in this one. Cameron Haley celebrating on the backstretch at Daytona International Speedway. Welcome back. Just finishing 155 laps. The Battle of the Beach. First in Northwestern Ohio Battle at the Beach. And guys, I think we saw the youth of this series really shine tonight. I mean, Greg Gaulding, even though in the last lap, maybe a little bit aggressive going after it, but Cameron Haley, a 16-year-old, gets his first win and able to celebrate. And you saw the true emotion in his eyes.
Yeah, that's something I love to see. It's the real deal, you know. I mean, just that moment, you cannot reproduce that moment anywhere. Yeah, it's just an amazing feeling being able to bring home a W, especially coming off the last corner, thinking you're going to finish second, going into 3, and coming off of 4 and winning the race. It's an unreal moment.
It just shows you how healthy our sport is with all this young talent in this series. And you know, this was the inaugural event here, and we certainly had some fireworks.
We saw it last night. The 98s, Kyle Larson gets into the back of C.E. Falk, sends him around, checkered flag flies.
That kind of set the tone for the weekend.
Larson got probably more Twitter knowledge than anyone has ever, well, Danica Patrick challenged him. And then earlier in the modified race, after a chain reaction, it was Steve Park in the 20 that was able to shoot out to the front and get the checkered flag in that one.
And great to see Steve Park back in victory lane, too.
Just completing the whole last lap for the K&N Pro Series.
A bit of contact. Michael Self, our leader, gets turned around. Ray Gaulding emerges with the lead.
The 6 was actually windshield deep, which is actually amazing. Very interesting that.
And then you see Gaulding trying to hang on for the win, but he slides through 4, opens the door for Cameron Haley, and he walks right through it.
We certainly saw some fireworks this week, these last couple days.
And we have seen some disappointment out of a few drivers. Let's find out how Michael Self's doing, Bob.
Well, Michael Self sitting at the back end of his trailer just lamenting on what happened. So let me ask you, what is your view of what happened on that final lap?
The same thing that's happened all weekend. You saw it in the late model race and probably saw it in the modified race. It's short track racing. You come in here, you're racing for 20 grand. That's huge, and all the fame in the world with this race, biggest race of the year. So we knew it was coming. I mean, I hated to see that caution. We had a really good, solid zone right there with about 3 to go. There it is. You know, it's just guys going for it. To be honest, if I was in second or third, I probably would have tried to dive bomb in too. So, you know, not a lot I can say. We knew it was going to come. It's just, hate to be in that position.
Knew it was going to come, but is it right?
Is it right to wreck people? I mean, not necessarily. That wasn't a little hit. You know, that was a pretty big one right there. And what you saw last night, that definitely wasn't right. You know, tonight, that's probably racing. I mean, it's tough to say, but it's probably racing. It's racing for big money. So I'm glad that we can come here and make an impression. You know, we came from last to first. We passed every single car out on the track, and that's what I'm excited about. I mean, RCR, Golden Gate Racing Team, they gave me a car to win that race, and we did everything but the last corner of it.
Michael Self still finishes 8th here at Daytona.
Thanks, Bob. Well, the trucks will take to the high banks. That is going to be a can't-miss race of the year. Strap in for 250 miles of wide-open racing and a fight to the finish that's sure to take your breath away, almost like what we've seen the past 2 nights. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Daytona. That's Friday, 7 Eastern, right here on Speed.
We normally see some fireworks in that race.
There are normally sparks flying when we see the trucks hit the high banks here. Hey, Joy, obviously really appreciate you coming up here and enjoying the race with us. This is a different vantage point for you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me up here. I had a ton of fun, and love to be back.
You're going to have to keep your emotions in check from here on out. I know you got a little bit excited there.
A little bit. It was good. Imagine being inside the car.
Good luck to you and the rest of the week. Obviously with the Budweiser Duel and the Daytona 500 coming up. Thanks for joining us here for Bill Parsons, Joey Logano, Bob Dillner, and Ray Dunlap. I'm Rick Allen saying thank you from Daytona.